Fellow Southern Cameroonians, fellow Ambazonians, my dear brave warriors of our revolution. Today is the 19th day of November in the year of our Lord 2018. Today is a very, very important turning point once more in the struggle of our people for freedom, for total freedom. Some times ago, I came to the people and I reported that La République du Cameroon was pushing a federalist agenda covertly just to bring division among the people of southern Cameroons, among the people of Ambazonia. I reported that from a document written by Mr. Laurent Esso after his failed visit to Belgium to convince the diaspora, he indicated that there was a certain trend, there was a certain voice. That voice was a federalist voice, that the voice was low, that they needed to make that voice loud. They needed to give that voice some kind of strength in order not to bolster federalism because they liked federalism or wanted to accept a return to federalism, but because they needed that voice to weaken the strong voice for total restoration of our independence, because they needed that voice to divide us, to set confusion in our midst. For over 58 years, La République du Cameroon has won it over us only through divide and rule. At the time, the principal tool was to take the Southwest, pit it against the Northwest. But when in 2016, they observed for themselves that that particular method was failing, that that particular approach had been eroded totally by the younger generations of Southern Cameroonians, by the people who decided that it is not politics as usual that will give us freedom, but that it is unity in our diversity that will take us forward. That these people decided to turn their backs to that evil doctrine of Northwest-Southwest divide. And so La République felt that the only other approach was to build, therefore, two diametrically opposed ideologies among us. So they brought the federalist option. They put it out there as a mirage. And I said it over and over that this was just a mirage. That those who were falling for it, thinking that La République du Cameroon at any point in time will accept a return to federalism, were simply, I beg your pardon to use this word, being stupid. Now today, everything is clear. We can all see it. In my last video, I announced that we didn't even have to bother about saying the conference that Cardinal Toumi and others wanted to hold in Boya should be stopped, because that conference was killed by themselves in the concept note. Because in the concept note, Dr. Munzu indicated clearly that for the conference to have any sense, to make any meaning, and for the outcome of it to be anything worthy of the sort, the government of La République du Cameroon needed to meet three conditions. One, free all the leaders who are under detention so that they should participate because their voices are important. Two, declare general amnesty so that the leaders who are based in the diaspora will also participate because they are an indispensable component of the solution to this problem. And then three, demilitarize, as withdraw the soldiers from our streets so that people could feel free to express themselves during that conference and not be afraid that whatever they say could be used against them and they will be targeted for killing or arrest after that conference. Now, when this kind of lofty preconditions are set forth and La République meets none of them, and the organizers remained obstinate that they wanted to go ahead and hold a conference, what was the use bothering about it? Because they themselves had predetermined that when these conditions will not be met, the conference will be worthless. Therefore, it was worthless. And so, to demonstrate just how much disdain they have for anything that would mean that they sit down to give and take with the people of Southern Cameroons. La République du Cameroon went ahead to deny authorization for Cardinal Tumi's conference, even the checkered conference, even the watered down conference to hold. Simply because La République does not want to have anything to do with taking any engagements or accepting any arrangements that will mean that there is give and take. Because Honorable Joseph Weber made it clear in the House of Assembly that we, the people of Southern Cameroon, were never conquered at war, and therefore we did not deserve the kind of treatment La République was giving us, and therefore we were also free, that we are free to go out of this union anytime we felt we could do so. La République has now told itself that what is happening now is too determining for them. This now, for anybody who is not seeing it yet, as far as La République du Cameroon is concerned, this is the war, the official war of annexation of the Southern Cameroons. Mr. Paul Biya is determined to end it militarily, so that at the end of it all, we are totally subjugated. We are totally broken down. We will never ever open our voices to say anything again, because we would have been conquered at war and we will be subdued by war. This is absolutely important. I have said so in my last video. I had said so before. I want Southern Cameroonians to take serious note of this and understand that if there has ever been any time that both federalists and independentists need to work together, both federalists and restorationists need to work together, this is that time. Because just like you have kept turning a blind eye to this and not recognizing that we're actually facing a war of annihilation, you have kept pushing us by day and by night towards certain defeat. But let me reassure each and every one of us, this war is ours to lose. Victory in this war is our portion. That is our only portion in this war. But we need to do exactly what we have to do. Sometimes I said on this platform that we have decided to begin to govern when we are supposed to be fighting to take back our territory. You cannot begin governing a territory you have not confiscated. You cannot begin governing a territory you have not taken back. I beg your pardon, not confiscated. You have not taken back from occupation. We spent a lot of time building structures here and there, appointing people up and down here and there, when we still have the ardent challenge to take back our territory. This is not time for us to do any blame game. By raising this, I'm not attempting to blame anybody. I am trying simply to say, let us recognize our failures. Let us recognize our shortcomings. Let us recognize the difficulties we have created for ourselves in this struggle, and return very fast to the drawing board and put in place that particular governing council or revolutionary body that will lead this revolution to the logical end. When this revolution would have been over and we have taken back our territory, we can return to governance. Right now, the approach we are taking to this revolution is only leading us to failure. I know that whenever I say this, those who believe that I say this just because I hate the interim government, I say this just because I hate the faces of some people in the interim government, will begin to say, Baako has come again. Please, this is not the time for us to get into finger pointing. This is not the time for us to begin tearing ourselves again together. This is the time for us to recognize honestly and clearly that we have lost some of the gains we made on the ground. And recognize that we still have the potential to not only restore those gains, but go much more further, than what we have done this far. I said it before and I will repeat it, that the state of our revolution is good, but we can do far much better. We are capable of doing better. We should come out of the illusion that we have already had this country and so we just need to be governing it. If we come away from that illusion, put our acts together, do what we are supposed to do, and stop being protective about groups or about persons and all whatnot, we will secure this victory the fastest possible and free our people from this huge burden. The more we delay, the more lives we lose. The more we drag and even give ourselves the luxury of arresting people who are supposed to be out there defending homeland and detaining them because we want to kind of, meet certain egos, we are shooting ourselves in the legs. My dear brothers and sisters, valiant soldiers of this revolution, there are people who are frustrated and are taking initiatives. I've heard about a meeting in Boston. Those who are questioning and throwing stones are simply mistaken. Instead of throwing stones, take the opportunity, go there and see what benefit you can make of any gathering. I mean, any gathering that is called in the name of Southern Cameroons. We should take advantage of such gatherings and see how we build. There is never anything wrong in coming together to reflect, to see how we push our struggle forward. That is one gathering. There may be other gatherings that are coming up, but by and large, I want to be very frank and honest with all of us. What we need now mostly are not just those gatherings. We all know what has to be done. Let us be courageous enough to settle down and do what has to be done. Let us be courageous enough to look at our leaders, each and every one of them in the face, and tell them what you expect of them right now. And I believe that we will understand that we have attained that level where the freedom of Southern Cameroons should no longer be determined by the speeches and resolutions of the majorities. It should be determined by strategy. It should be determined by a well-focused approach. Let us stop attempting to govern a territory we don't have yet. Let us put our acts together and take back that territory and then settle down to govern it. This is a sound message to especially the Federalists to understand that time for you to come out of your limbo is now. Time for you to come out of the dream world in which you have been hiding is now. Federalism has no future. Join us in the restoration train. Let us save ourselves from certain destruction. Let us rescue what we have left. Let us free ourselves from the evil pangs of those who only are interested in our resources and don't care about our lives. As far as Mr. Paul Biya is concerned, the lives of Southern Cameroonians don't matter. Enough is enough. Let us support the initiative of our Ground Zero forces that are also deciding to come together. I've heard about the Amazonian military forces. If these young boys and girls on Ground Zero have decided that it makes sense for them to come together, to work as one strong unit, it makes sense for us to support them and not to fight them because of our egocentric interests. Let us support those initiatives that bring people together. Let us stop fighting them. God is with us.